So, one of the most important figures for finance actually came out today. It is called the CPI, aka Consumer Price Index. It's historically had a crazy effect on the stock markets, and this time around will most likely have the same effect on crypto. And oh boy, has it been interesting. So obviously, I've been looking around the interwebs to see what these numbers could mean, what people are expecting, and how it's going to affect our crypto portfolios, and I came to two really interesting videos. First of all, a video from Nobody Special Finance, nice name. He basically goes over how he thinks in the same fashion as Coin Bureau, how usually they'll make it in a way at which these numbers look down. And what they basically portray the consumer price index is, a consumer price index is a price index, price of weighted average market basket of consumer goods and services purchased by households. Changes in measured CPI track changes in prices over time. It basically measures your average household basket of goods you need to buy each single year, and it measures it usually year over year. And with CPI, you can do a lot of different things, but in this sense here, it also measures how much more expensive your standard basket of goods have changed from year 1 to year 2, or whatever year, 2020 to 2021, so to speak. Now, when listening to these videos, there's a couple of things which come apparent, and I kind of want to show you guys this little 1-minute clip or so to get some idea of what I'm talking about.
The CPI inflation measure is one of the most important economic numbers out there. It has
I guess I should actually put it to 1, huh? I watch everything at double speed, but maybe that's not so nice.
massive implications for so many factors in our daily lives. Given the importance of it, it's vital that it accurately reflects the cost of living we witness on a daily basis. However, the evidence points to the contrary. From the way that goods are substituted to quality adjustments, from assumptions around housing to methods of data collection. The evidence points to a measure that is likely being massaged down, not up. Even with this dubious accounting, the folks in power have not been able to stave off those high and persistent inflation prints. Indeed, many would say that those policymakers have themselves been responsible for it. My only hope is that as we roll into the new year, the policies that have helped to precipitate this inflation are curtailed. And hopefully, this will lead to a cooling off of this white-hot inflation.
Now, we talked about the inflation a couple of times on this channel already, because this is one of the first years, I guess, that crypto and the stock market move so very much alike one another. But one of the key points to understand from his little talk right here is that usually they try to put this number down as much as possible by, for example, making it so that your standard basket of goods changes drastically over a couple of years, when in reality, again, they can still claim that same basket of goods, which again is now, I guess, different goods, but it's the same sort of standard, has now, again, kind of stayed relatively the same in terms of price, because they usually called inflation a quote-unquote fake thing, or basically something you shouldn't ever worry about. Now, this year, of course, a lot changed in that regard, but that's also funny to see how the CPI in December 2021, one of the points pointed out now, has been the highest ever in like 40 years, since 1982, which is crazy. But one of the main parts here also comes, of course, in the sense that, well, 2020 and 2021 actually were really crazy years. And from a certain perspective, if there's a calculation which does year over year, 2020 puts such a huge amount of strain on the entire system of CPI because, well, the entire market just went crazy that time around. So it's really interesting to look at this number and look at the implications, but this might be one of the causes why crypto's pumped today. And so right now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into a couple of different altcoins which I took a look at today, which have been doing really amazing, while first introducing you guys with a little bit of juicy crypto news, just some general crypto news that we found, and then moving over into Fantom, Hbar, XLM, Polygon, and a couple of Metaverse little tips over at the end. So first of all, let's take a little bit of a look at this. Tom Emmer shared, "Today, I introduced a bill prohibiting the Fed from issuing a central bank digital currency directly to individuals. Here is why it matters." Now, I've been trying to figure out exactly why it would matter. From a certain perspective, I'm not so sure that it really does. Maybe this is just more like a thing which is nice to write down, but not in essence. Today, I introduced a bill prohibiting the Fed from issuing a central bank digital currency directly to individuals. Here's why. As other countries like China develop CBDCs that fundamentally omit the benefits and protections of cash, it is more important than ever to ensure the United States digital currency policy protects financial privacy, maintains the dollar's dominance, and cultivates innovation. CBDCs that fail to adhere to these three basic principles could enable the entirety or entity like the Federal Reserve to mobilize itself into a retail bank, collecting personally identifiable information on users and track their transactions indefinitely. Now, again, I understand what he's trying to say, but him introducing a bill doesn't necessarily matter. The issue at hand, which is the Federal Reserve getting too much information from all of us, could matter. Then again, I sometimes like to relate it a little bit further, knowing, the Federal Reserve, if they really want to, they'll get the data they want anyway. However, I think more people would like to kind of draw this line in the sense of, right now, the Federal Reserve can't really ban you from doing anything, right? It's not the Federal Reserve that does it. It's, for example, a specific retail bank. However, if we kind of think away a lot of those retail banks and everything goes through the Fed in this new digital dollar era, then if you make one little mistake, you kind of get like a social credit system where you make one little mistake with them, you're basically scarred for life, because who are you going to run to when they're the standard for everything over in your country? So from that perspective, I agree where they're coming from. So I guess you guys can kind of see what the whole story is going to be right here, so we don't need to read it too much further. But they're basically trying to think of a new solution to make it better, and we'll see how the rule makers react to this, as officially it's just a little bill, it's just a little idea. We don't know if it's actually going to pull through, but the idea, concept, and whatever is pretty clear, and we can see the use case. Moving over into Fantom, I think this is one of the best performers throughout the last couple of days here. Today, it was up like about 22% or so, right now up only 13%. But I've been checking out the entire internet everywhere, and only the things I can be finding, basically, that I found was that they are doing really well in total value locked. And again, I actually wanted to make an entire video about them. However, I've been waiting for like this new piece of news, just this groundbreaking piece of content that I could really amaze people with. But it hasn't come in a little while. And I think that's because Fantom is employing a little growth tactic where they're increasingly scalable. And that's actually from multiple different perspectives, also just looking at the numbers. However, there's a couple of issues that I can find. I've actually seen a couple of those throughout the realm as well. But I mean, they're increasingly scalable. They're doing so well in terms of all their numbers, but the marketing is on a little lower fire than before, potentially. In the terms that there's not that many news articles coming out. There's not that much exposure to all the news that's going on in the background, potentially because they're at the stage where right now they're just reaping some of the benefits from things they've done over the past. But there's a couple of things we can discuss about that. I just noticed Fantom, in terms of the DeFi, which is trying to be, is doing really well. And Alpha says not bad for a ghost chain because, again, one of the reasons why they might be on a lower pit is because they haven't really turned any of the bigger engines on. Fantom is really kind of in like one of the earlier stages of their development, if you ask me. They have so much room to grow, so much room to go. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about stolen Fantom. Not sure exactly what happened there, by the way. Not sure what happened there. That's kind of scary. Maybe a wallet issue? Ooh, that could be scary. Maybe people losing money for some way. But I don't know. If you're not doing anything too crazy, shouldn't happen. So I just saw that. Kind of worried. Thought maybe something happened, but hopefully we're good. Then a little update on Hbar. Again, one of the best performers throughout the day, up about, I think, 13%. Right now, up only about 7.3. Still a wonderful number, though, if you ask me. So Hbar has been by far one of my best performers throughout the last couple of years. Specifically, year over year, it's up 535%. And it's one coin I'm going to hold for most likely till the end of days. Now, this project is obviously a project where there's a heavy fan base, and rightfully so, as the Hashgraph, Hedera, and everything that they've done is, generally speaking, quite a couple of ways better than a couple of other cryptos we are not going to mention here today. It's just really done in a better way than the market usually portrays it. And right now it's in the top 40, but in reality, for how good they are, they can definitely be a top 10 contender. But one of the things I saw right here was documenting Hbar saying that XRP is trying to get negative carbon, or carbon negative by 2030. Meanwhile, Hbar is it already. I want to quickly say, guys, why hate on one another? At the end of the day, as I've always said, we're all in this together. So one crypto doing something doesn't mean another crypto is laughable now for trying to do that in a little piece of time. Like, for example, an Ethereum, we shouldn't laugh at them for not having proof of stake because they're working towards it. It's a good thing. And I don't want to say, oh, we already have proof of stake. We're so much better. I don't think that's the way that these systems should work. And in the same sense, Hbar being so developed in this area, amazing, right? We all know Hbar is good, but I'm not exactly sure why we would have to kind of talk down another project for not getting there or having the vision of doing something better than they're doing right now. In that same sense, I would like to say just look at how you, or I guess from a project, look at how they've done before in a human reflective. I mean, Look at how you were doing last year or yesterday and kind of reflect on that instead of how somebody else is doing at one point or another. I think that's way more important and way more critical. In the same sense, we should look at how Hbar is doing in comparison to what it was doing before, not how it compares to some others. Because even though we can definitely say, oh, Hbar is better than them in this or better than them in that, there's an incentive for any single crypto project out there as to why you would hold that one over the other. I've told you guys this 1,000 times before. I can name reasons for almost any crypto that you would pick right now and explain to you why it's most likely better than another cryptocurrency. And so comparing it like that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You should compare the project to what it was before and potentially compare to the industry standard. For example, is Hbar a fast cryptocurrency? Well, we look at the industry. Let's say, for example, the average transaction time would be 75 seconds, whatever. Right? I think it's way lower, but you get the drift. And Hbar does it in 0.2. Then yeah, it's a fast cryptocurrency. And if you then put it on a list or scale of how fast cryptos are, and it's actually at the top, wow, then it's a really fast cryptocurrency, potentially the fastest. Those are nice stats, but you guys hopefully get the deal I'm trying to point out. That's just what it excels in, and that's like ticking numbers on the box, not just trying to shit talk others. All right, then another article here from Nick, or I should say tweet. The crazy thing about Hbar is that we are already in the top 30, well, we're not, with little to no marketing. With so much still left to be announced, like GC members, NFT marketplaces, DeFi use cases, scalable smart contracts taken, and so much more. So much, it's truly mind-blowing. Hbar will soon take over. So in that regard, I would say for Fantom and Hbar together, they have quite a lot going for themselves that still basically needs to develop. In the sense that they have amazing partnerships, specifically Hbar, we've gone over those partnerships time and time again. They're really, really good. Yet, if we look at the amount of people that actually support the project actively, Hbar is definitely out there, Fantom is, but then if we look at the amount of, as I said just now, news that comes out for all these partners and whatnot, it's actually still quite on a low pit, on a low fire. Where in reality, again, with a coin like XRP, it's like way up there. Even with coins like Matic, it's like 50 times more articles. Now, another coin, which is not really getting too much attention, is actually XLM. I noticed XLM was doing really amazing today, up by like 13% or 12% or something like that. I called it out a little while ago. Now, when trying to check the live CoinWatch page for it, it actually did not open. Not exactly sure why that would be the case. I've tried to refresh a couple of times. Maybe now, about 10 minutes later, will it work? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with live CoinWatch and why this website is not working for XLM. It's peculiar though. But yeah, I'm also trying to find out exactly what is going on with XLM in comparison to others. All you can find out for yourself right now is that, hey, the crypto market is pumping due to potentially inflation, potentially specifically the CPI number, or due to something else like the stock market going up, and so the cryptos go up. And all coins are just in a bullish little momentum, so they go, and some go more exponential than others. What exactly makes one pump more than the other though? Usually we can kind of try to explain it with some sort of news or potentially some resistances that are just kind of broken. But in reality, when some coins are doing way farther into the double digits and some coins aren't, I like to say that they are independently moving. Look at the difference here. 2.5% up, 12% up. Why this one so much more than the other? But with these cryptos, it's so hard to find the news for them. And so guys, I'm going to quickly put it out here. If you have any insights on all this stuff, make sure you just keep sharing it with me over on Twitter. I check it out all the time. You can also send it to me over on Telegram or Discord or stuff like that. I try to check all these different sources for all the news. And also understand, guys, that I have so many news aggregators open. If there's a piece of crypto news, there's a very high likelihood that I find it. And it's just nearly impossible to very often find some new announcements that come out. And I try to check on so many different places as well. But for XLM, what can we say? There's a couple of negative things that came out, a couple of positive, but nothing that would actually make a dent or impact. Same thing for Hbar. I've seen a couple of announcements, like for example, this right here. These are smaller announcements, but something you might get excited over. Yet nothing game-breaking that should make the price pump more or significantly more. Here you get an announcement for $10 billion TVL, total value locked. It's good, but once more, it's not something to really write home about for us as holders. Is all of a sudden going to change things. It's just a nice little number. But I think it actually broke the 10 billion TVL mark a little while ago already. Little side note to that. Actually, I see Ripple just tweeted from carbon neutral NFTs. Oh, they're tweeting out again. I still, as of this point, guys, just a quick little intervention, am not so happy with the whole NFT department of things. I don't know. In terms of NFTs, I think they can be very useful. But in the way in which they're doing it now, I don't think it's so good. Nor do I think that XRP NFTs or XP Ledger NFTs are really a nice thing for the ecosystem. Just my thoughts. A little quick announcement here. Polygon schedules long-awaited EIP 1559 upgrade for the next week. London hard fork, yay! Yay! Woohoo! 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 So basically gonna reduce the supply. The EIP 1559 upgrade, we had a good discussion about this a little while ago, commonly known as London hard fork, completely revolutionizes the way that the fee market works on the Ethereum network. It eliminates the first price auction as the main mechanics, or mechanisms for fee calculation, introduces a discrete base fee that is burned rather than paid to miners. While this change does not lower transaction fees, which are governed by the forces of demand and supply, it does allow users to estimate costs better and reduce the number of users overpaying. However, these changes will have far-reaching effects for all of Polygon's stakeholders, including its native token Matic, validators and delegators, decentralized app developers, and users. So once more, this will give the deflationary effect to Matic. Since Matic has a fixed supply of 10 billion tokens, any reduction in the number of available coins will have a deflationary effect on the asset. The project core team noted that its analysis concluded that an annual burn of Matic would represent about 0.27% of the token supply, about 27 million Matic. For DApp users on the network, the EIP 1559 upgrade will further increase their benefits of enjoying even lower fees. However, there will be fewer Matic tokens available. Developers, on the other hand, will receive as kind of like a boost, as all of their Ethereum toolings will work seamlessly and face minimal adverse effects. So it's a nice thing overall, and I'm excited to see this pull through. And last but not least, I wanted to quickly guide you guys through a little bit of an announcement in regards to Metaverse. Guys, whenever I talk to you guys about coins that you should be going for, I usually add 1 or 2 Metaverse coins in there. One of the main reasons is because I think that sector is going to be blowing up. Right now, it's doing really well in terms of Google Trends. I think the numbers are just going to keep climbing higher and higher and higher. And so a couple of coins I'm invested in are a couple of ones that are in this list. I'm going to go over them. Block I have, Hero I have, Atlas, spelled wrong, Atlas I have. But there's also a couple other ones that I'm going for example, GGM, which is launching on Bybit in just a little bit. Check the link down below for Bybit. Make sure you check out GGM because there's a very high potential that this coin is going to be a very easy 10x, meaning we put in, for example, $100, get $1,000 back within a couple of days. Very, very high probability. Not financial advice. You guys must understand that. Not financial advice, but that's my thoughts. My thoughts, and I hope that it will pull through in the way in which we expect, but usually it does. All right, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also check out these 2 channels because beautiful stuff they got, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.